What's going on, guys? This is Ryan Frankowski, and you are listening to Mocktails or Messy with
Kelly Mizgorski and
Russ Cersosimo.
Check it out. We are in the Optimal Reach Media Studios. We are located in an undisclosed location.
Right.
yeah, I like that.
It might be on a golf course.
Under a golf course.
When did you start Optimal Reach Media?
I actually started Optimal Reach in 2014 for a reason. It was because I was jumping into the cannabis industry and I needed something that I could do from home to generate cash. Optimal Reach was always something I did as a creative vent on the back end. And, we got some pretty cool customers.
Thank you for welcoming us in your studio.
Yeah.
Yes, we love it.
Yes.
So Russ is a musician, an author, entrepreneur, astrologer. Russ, what are we drinking today?
Oh, that's right. It is Mocktails and Messy. So I want to surprise you guys. Have you seen this yet?
That's a tincture?
This is called Feel Free.
Wow.
This is Kava and Kratom.
I'm not sure what that is.
Okay. So
Kava and Kratom.
what my company does is we make technology to make it not taste as terrible. Okay? Because this stuff is really bitter. But to give you an idea, if you were to walk into like a vape shop right now or one of those type of companies, or one of those retail outlets, this is going to be the number one selling product.
Wow.
And it's because it's giving you that liquor type feeling. It's helping calm people down. They're getting a little more lubed up. And they do that in Hawaii with
social
Kava.
lubricant.
Yeah. So what I like to do is I take it and I use it as if it was liquor. Same measurements, usually about an ounce. Now you're going to see it's very earthy.
Dang.
And that is the plant alkaloids.
Oh, wow. So this is Feel Free Classic Plant-Based Herbal Supplement. And we are dealing with, we got iron, kava, keratin leaf. Am I saying that right?
Keratin leaf.
Yeah, keratin is like...
Kratom.
I was like, keratin is a treatment.
Keratin is a thing.
Keratin's a treatment.
I'm going to do it just in case because I am nursing and I'm just not sure.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm going to be careful.
So there is...
have a baby.
Yeah.
There is no alcohol in here. There's no THC.
Nope.
It is just a bunch of...
Plants.
Yep. Oh my god.
Specifically, it is the alkaloids from the kratom leaf out of Thailand, which is mitragynine is the name of the actual alkaloid. And it's in the plant at about 1%. It's extracted and put into that, which is why it tastes so strong. But they use it for pain. They use it for sleep. They use it for endurance, stamina.
Wow.
It depends on how much of it you ingest. If you just do a little bit, it'll help give you a little energy. If you do a lot, you can have energy for a prolonged time.
What is that?
It's good
retail?
for making love because you get desensitized. You can go for a long time. Lowers your blood pressure. It makes you strong like an ox.
So it's kind of like an ED?
Yep, exactly. And if you eat a ton of it, it will put you to sleep. So I've had people that are in serious pain. They take opiates and they want to get off opiates. They start drinking this stuff and it works just the same.
Cheers. Oh, damn. Don't get the stuff wet.
And we mixed with the immune refresher from 365.
Yeah.
And I'm just doing this.
There you go.
You're doing a mocktail.
Yeah.
But this she's not even going for the actual mocktail.
That's a double mocktail.
Yes.
Double secret mocktail.
I know.
Super secret mocktail.
Oh my
you
god.
even put fake alcohol in your fake alcohol drink.
I know. You know, when I first started this podcast, we were so new to like the mocktail wave like 2 years ago.
I think it's because booze makes you stupid. And eventually smart people catch on to it, makes you stupid. And I think they're okay with booze being peppered throughout society because I think they want us to be stupid, to be honest with you. I started getting into plants early because I saw that plants were displacing that need for that. Yeah. And that's where I look at, was it depression? Was there some underlying something happening in my body that I wanted that alcohol? And all of a sudden, now it's like it's gone. So that's how I got into that. And from there, then I got into cannabis, and then you start preaching from all plant. You preach all plants to the people at that point, and all roads lead to a mocktail.
Let's do it. However, I still want my messy friends to enjoy themselves. We still want to be hanging out with our friends, and I think that in a lot of ways, like Kelly definitely has a healthier relationship with the...
Oh, yeah?
She's just...
I enjoy red wine. I don't want to get shit-faced drinking, but I enjoy some red wine. Very accomplished person. First, I want to ask you about your company, Hemp Synergistics.
So, Hemp Synergistics we're basically a biotech company, and I'll summarize what we do really quick.
Okay.
You have major problems in cannabis when it comes to putting it in consumer packaged goods, which is where it ends up, which is like all the medicine you're used to taking is in a consumer packaged good of some sort.
Yeah.
It's standardized, it's the same every single time. That's what you're used to. Well, the cannabis industry has always been either smoke it, rub it on you, vape it, or eat a gummy.
Yeah.
There's no standardization. This isn't in a powder form. It's not easy to measure. So what we do is we take this viscous oil that we've all seen in a vape pen, and we microencapsulate it in a helix structure polysaccharide. So we basically turn it into a powder. And what happens is, now this is neat science. If you were to take a gummy right now with 10 milligrams of CBD or THC in it and chew it up, your body goes, second you start chewing it, goes, that's too many chemicals for me to just let it go. Let me start firing out enzymes to potentially save my organs. So you start sending out P450 enzymes to destroy the cannabinoids on the way down, and whatever's left makes it to your lower gut, which is where then your blood takes it and goes up. So when we eat a 10 milligram gummy, the body destroys 96% of the cannabinoids. So you're only getting half a milligram from 10.
Yeah.
My company, because we microencapsulate it, we confuse the body into thinking that it's eating a potato. So what happens is it goes down and the body's like, oh, potato, I'm not going to fire off these enzymes because potato is safe. Then when it gets down the lower gut, amylase, a natural enzyme, opens it up. And like a Trojan horse, out come the cannabinoids and into your bloodstream. So we're getting a lot more into it. So we make advanced products in hemp. And it's fun. I mean, we're around weed all day long.
Yeah, and I was going to say, you definitely have inspired a lot of people to kind of dabble into the cannabis industry in United States, Pennsylvania especially. Do you feel like there's a lot of barriers still to go through to legalize it?
Well, I think it's going to get legalized recreationally soon, now, probably, like within the next year, because all the states surrounding us are legal, and we're losing medical revenue because of it, and that's when the politicians all of a sudden care.
Yes.
So I think that's coming. As far as like where it is now versus when I started in 2014 in PA, the acceptance rate by the public was I think 18 to 22%, maybe 23%, and now it's 98% approval rating. So the only holdback is the politicians in how it's going to pay for things, and now they know that they need that revenue, so they're going to be legalizing soon.
Just like the one thing I worry is I notice people will get a little bit crazy when they crossfade. So like a lot has a lot.
Oh, you mean with alcohol?
Drinking and then doing the cannabis. You
can't.
Can you explain like what happens in that process?
Yeah, I mean you have two different molecules that are trying to affect your body, and certain molecules work well together. When you do alcohol, it's doing something completely different. Cannabis is trying to do something completely different. They are not synergizing well, and you can't mix those two. It's the dumbest thing ever. I won't even mix those two, and I'm pretty trained.
Yeah, I'm surprised how many people have been doing that, and then I always see it. It's like clockwork. Maybe it doesn't happen that one Friday or that one Saturday, but then eventually you see them just go crazy.
Faded.
It's like bzz,
they're just faded.
Yeah, they're totally faded. It's the best way to describe it.
I notice it when you guys see the studio over there.
Yes.
2 hours into the studio, I'll have maybe one or two drinks, but we're definitely smoking weed. And all of a sudden, I'm like trashed.
Yeah.
And it happens really quick, and it's like, whoa. And you could back off of it and like, whoa. But you got to watch, because if you drank too much going into it, and then you hit the cannabis,
yes,
and that cannabis is gonna be stuck for 45 minutes or so. Thank God, if it's inedible, it's even worse.
Yeah.
But yeah, those two are not good together.
Yeah, I know, Kelly, you definitely don't mess with the cannabis.
I don't. No,
Yeah.
it's just not it's not something I ever got into.
Yeah. I know that I just have had like taken a break dry January of everything, and I think I noticed like, there is that part of me that misses it. However, I think I just went through a hard breakup, and you know when you just need to be completely clear? And I think with the mocktails, like it has given me that placebo effect tipsy, and I'm sure yourself as well. Like you can probably feel a little bit of a buzz from something like this.
Yeah, I think just having it in your hand, like
Yes.
you said, that placebo effect is 42% of it, and
Right.
you almost go out and just having that in your hand gives you that social,
Yeah.
kind of bump that you need.
I love drinking soda water. That makes me It makes me feel like I'm drinking alcohol.
Yeah, if it's in a fancy glass,
Yeah.
you got a nice little garnish on it.
Mm-hmm.
It can be a placebo.
Yeah.
How did you get into astrology?
So, okay, you have those people in your life that talk about it like ad nauseum. You're like, dude, shut up. It's not real, right? You hear that all the time. It's not real.
Yeah.
Well, then I married one that was always on talking. She was always talking about it. And here, it made me go look at how a Gemini and a Virgo should be together. And it said, do not marry each other.
And you married one.
And I married one because I didn't buy into that stuff. I thought it was all bullshit.
And when was this? What year?
This was 2018.
Okay, so pretty recent.
Somewhat real. It was 5 years, 6 years ago. Yeah, something like that. So what happens is that's where I first get this, And I thought, well, it's not talking to me, right? It doesn't mean me, like everybody else. And then I read why. And then I started to realize soon thereafter, holy shit, this is right. And that was enough for me to go, okay, let's start paying a little more attention. And I'm a Virgo, and Virgo's thing is pattern recognition. So I would never have gotten to this point if I wasn't a Virgo.
So what month is that?
September, end of August, September. So what happened was then I went to my family Thanksgiving, and you guys kind of both have an idea. My family's huge.
Yeah.
I love
So I have
your
36
family.
cousins.
And it's at the cabin, right?
It's at the cabin, right?
Yeah.
So there's 36 cousins alone, and then all the aunts and uncles. There's like 80 people there, or something like that.
Wow.
I have historical data on my whole family, meaning I've known them my whole life. I know how they are. I know their personalities. I know all that. If you know that and then you overlay zodiac on them, you can start to look for the patterns. So here, I'm up at Thanksgiving, and a couple things started all happening. My cousin Jen got up to talk, and she had tickets that she was selling for the baseball for her kids. And right before she had to make the announcement, she goes, I hate talking on stage. And as soon as I heard that, I went, are you a Virgo? She's like, yeah, why? I'm like, oh my God, there's something to this, because Virgos hate that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that all of a sudden I start seeing all the little things about that were coming to light. Like all the earth signs were all close cousins. Like all my best cousins were all Tauruses. And I'm like, holy shit. Well, like my business partners are Tauruses. My girlfriend who's calling right now is Taurus.
And what month is that? Sorry.
That's
I don't know.
May.
May.
So
okay.
they're hard-headed. So you get things that start to come to light like that, and it piques your interest because you're like, okay. My sister Serena calls me one day.
I love her.
And she said, did you see the movie Bohemian Rhapsody? And I said, no. And she said, Russ, you're Freddie Mercury to a T.
Oh
Now,
my God.
I come from an Italian family. First thing I said, Freddie Mercury's gay. What about me is gay? She goes, that's not what I meant, but just watch it. But all I got in my head is he walks around flamboyantly, and is that what I look like? Maybe, I don't know. I do a little
You're
bit.
eccentric.
I know, I do a
You're
little bit.
eccentric. Like, not gay, but just...
What that?
You
But
might be.
I didn't.
I'm kidding.
I didn't think that it meant anything at that second.
Yeah.
2 days later, because the movie had just come out, my cousin Janine called me,
Right.
who knows me just as much as any woman besides my mom and my sister, because she's my oldest girl cousin. And she
yeah.
said, Rusty, did you see this Bohemian Rhapsody? I said, no. She goes, you're Freddie Mercury to a T. Now, no joke. That's all this pattern recognition guy needed to hear. I went, hey Siri, what's Freddie Mercury's birthday? Same day as mine.
What?
September 5th. Same day as mine. So that's literally what I did. I went, hey, when's Freddie
That's
Mercury's birthday? I'm like,
weird.
all right, now. Weird enough. Now, put a pin in that. Then I go on and have a band. Okay? Only after that, I start a band.
What year was this that you had that revelation?
Whenever the movie came out of Bohemian Rhapsody. So, like, my band was maybe in the beginning, if not, didn't really have a band yet.
What year?
2019.
Okay.
So what happens is I end up working my way up the ranks, play at Jurgles. Like, that's where you have to play in Pittsburgh, right?
That's
so I play
right.
at Jurgles. We film it. And I'm at work. I'm playing. So put a pin in that. It's on YouTube. I got the film. I go play hockey. I'm on my hockey bench. A kid brings a jukebox. He's playing some Queen song I'd never heard before. I said, who is it? He said, it's Queen. I said, get out of here. He says, yeah, it's called Dragonfire or something like that. I went back to my office the next day, and I'm just on a break typing in my computer, and I have the video on. Someone calls me in the other office. I hit pause. I get up. I leave. I come back. I see the screenshot. It's Freddie Mercury's shoes. He's wearing the same brand, same color, same make, same everything that I'm wearing in my Jurgle show 42 years later. Same exact.
That's something to be said.
Yeah, there's something to that.
Yeah. I mean, same birthday.
Same zodiac. And when you go look at his chart, so the chart's like where all 12 planets were the minute that you came out of that womb. his are all on the same side and same places as mine. So like I think he's also a Leo rising. Like Virgos don't like to be on stage, but him and I are both Leo risings.
Wow.
Leos love to be on stage. So it's like a conflicting battle inside our mind.
See, I would never think of you wanting to not be on. I would think of you wanting to be on stage.
Well, because I have that, and because I have that Leo rising, and also because I was Virgo raised by Scorpio.
Oh.
And Scorpio says, get out there, pussy. Quit being a pussy. Get up there on stage. Quit being a whip. Quit being a whip. And that's what rings in my head. And I'll give you a funny story how important it is. My girlfriend joked the other day at family dinner on Sunday. She said,
Where'd you meet your girl?
At the zoo.
Okay. So nice.
It was like a nice function at the zoo. But what happened is she says, why do you, when the alarm goes off, why do you jump out of bed like 100 miles an hour? And I said, I don't know. I just feel like that's how you have to do it. And she brought it up. She brought it up at family dinner. And my dad says, well, it's because I'd wake you up with a taser. And I went, oh, that's right. My dad would literally.
For real?
For real. He would come in with a taser.
You have PTSD from
I
that.
have PTSD from a taser, from an actual taser. And I didn't even put two and two together until my dad had said it. And my girlfriend says, dude, you jump out of bed 100 miles an hour. My dad's like, yeah, it's because we would tase you.
I do love your dad. I did not know he did that. I don't think he did that to the younger generation.
Dude, I used to borrow his clothes, okay? So the way it used to work in
Yes.
high school, I'd walk in the morning, I'd go right in his closet, I'd sneak past their bed into his closet, start ironing. So the one day he says, you go in my closet again, I'm going to shoot you with a BB gun. I'm like, or just I'm going to shoot you or something like that. I said, yeah, okay. And I didn't even think anything of it the next day. You're right, the alarm went off, I ran in. I walk in, get around I'm in the closet.
Yeah.
All of a sudden I hear, he's got a fucking BB gun. He's sitting in the bed. I look around the corner. He's sitting there like this at me. I'm like, Dad, come on. I went back in. He's like, go ahead. Get out now. I told you don't do it. I ran from the thing. Shooting BBs.
Wow.
My house was crazy growing up.
We were talking about this earlier. What are the 8 stages of
drunkenness?
Of drunkenness.
So you have, and it's been a while since I've done this, but let's think of the first one, right? So you have your first stage, which is like the I don't want to drink. I'm good.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe I have a headache. But then like you have one and you're like, okay, I'm starting to loosen up. Then you get into the like, and I forget what stage 2 is, but stage 3 is like the bulletproof stage where you're kind of like, you know what bulletproof is.
Yes.
Then you get into like the invisible stage where like you might steal a lighter thinking no one's looking at you and just put it in your pocket because you're so drunk and your peripheral's like this, but like everyone's looking at you. That's where you think you're invisible.
Yes, yes.
And
you
then,
think you're discreet.
Then there's the I love you mansies stage.
Oh, yeah.
All right, like I love you, man. I love you.
What stage is that?
That's like stage 7.
7,
And
yes.
then like stage 8, you get to the plansies, where you're planning stuff. Like, dude, we should do that tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Like we should. Me and you should all do
Yeah,
that.
we should create a business together.
Right, the planning stage.
Yeah,
I call it the plansies. You start getting the plansies, and then
Interesting. I never put that all together before.
Yeah.
it's kind of true, right?
So true.
Yeah, some yeah.
There's
that
one or
makes
two I'm
sense.
missing, but
Yeah, well, we got the gist of it. I mean, it is hilarious when you go through that process, and now that you're kind of not into the like booze and
You see
stuff, you said a little bit. I remember whenever you were more of like the monologue talker, maybe like 15 years ago, growing up, and now I find like you're so in tune with like this back and forth conversation. Like you want like you have a bit more patience.
oh yes. So the difference is weed.
Oh.
What happened was I realized when I was drinking, I would always want to be the center of attention and jumping up and saying, "Oh, I got something funny to say."
Yeah.
Just waiting for something funny.
Is that
to say.
being the oldest brother?
Being old?
Are they-
I mean, maybe being short your whole life. That's probably what it was. I was like 4'11" all through, like most of until like high school and stuff. So I was short.
Yeah.
But you know, the thing is I would always want to jump up and say something. Weed made me sit back and question what I was going to say, just long enough that I would say it then later. But people thought it was funnier because my delivery, my timing was better.
Yeah.
And it only took me 3 or 4 times of being stoned in public to realize, like, your delivery's much better. You're funnier stoned.
Yeah.
And then I just learned to be funnier.
Wittier too.
And just listen to people a little more too, because you get more content if you listen to people.
Oh yeah.
You know.
I mean, Kelly's always a good listener, but like whenever she.
Yeah, to a fault. I'm a listener, and then I don't get out what I'm gonna say. You know,
Yes.
I think about all these things I want to say, and then I never say it.
What's your zodiac?
I'm a Gemini.
Oh, there you go. Wait, what? You can't talk?
No, I can.
She's got two
and
different
I
sides.
Oh, yeah, I
The
know
twins.
crazy. But I also
You're crazy. I love the crazy.
I married one, like I said. I mean, when you go to order it at a restaurant, Do you always ask the waitress between two? You can't decide between two things at the end of the menu?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a Gemini thing.
I'm always indecisive. And I did want to ask you about our signs and see what you could tell us.
Yeah.
And then see if we're likely to be friends or not.
So let's see, Frankie, you're what?
November 11th.
So you're Scorpio, that's right.
Yeah.
Scorpio, okay. So I was raised by Scorpio.
Yes.
Okay, so
Dad was Scorpio. Your mom was, what was she?
She is a Sagittarius.
Sag. Okay,
Yeah,
so
she's a
Scorpio,
fire.
Sag.
Yeah. So basically, here's what I can tell you about each one of you. Number one, you are a first of all, Scorpio is like, you can't push on a Scorpio. Number one, okay. My dad was one, and I like to say that the second I push on him, it doesn't matter what I'm doing, the stinger comes out, and he will push back, and he actually enjoys pushing back.
You are.
Weird.
Do have a little stinger.
Weird.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't.
It happens.
I don't like it.
It's part of you. You have an exoskeleton.
Yeah.
You probably don't mind pain.
No.
Right?
I kind of like pain.
Is that?
He does. He used to tell me to step on his foot. Like, stomp on his foot. In high school, he'd be like, will you please just stomp on my foot as hard as you can? And I would do it. And he was like, oh, I like that.
Yeah. Okay. Now, but I'm saying,
weird.
is that weird or what?
Strange.
Now, it's neat that I know that.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll give you a funny story. I got asked to go speak at this thing called Nerd Night, where you speak to about 200 like Carnegie Mellon Duquesne nerds. It's really cool because what it is, it's some neat thing that they you learn, but it's also funny at the same time. So like they have you come talk about a subject like, you know, nuclear whatever, but then you add like a comedic thing to it, and it's really cool and entertaining. So I'm going to go to talk about psychedelics. So the week before or the month before they do it, I want to go scope the place out and just see, you know, who's there because it's the best to talk to people when you know what the crowd's like. So that what they do is they do speed friending beforehand. So imagine 250 people in a room, and you each walk in on your ticket. You have a number, and what they do is for the first half an hour of this thing, they put up on a screen, you know, number 1 and number 26 sit at this table, and they literally pair everyone up with 5 different people over half an hour. Okay, and the deal is you have to sit down and get to know people, and then you put like a thumbs up if you're going to want to hang with that person later, whatever. Fact is I would sit down with these people and I would look at them and I would say, hi, I'm Russ. Do you want me to tell you about you, or do you want to tell me about you? Now, you say that to a Carnegie Mellon kid, and they've never heard anything like that. They've seen it all, but not that. So they go like this. They go, well, I guess I would want you to tell me about me. Yeah. And I would say, okay, what's your birthday? They'd give me a birthday, and I would tell them just like that. You probably like pain. Probably this, probably that. And like no judgment, like that's weird. How the hell? What's weird is they didn't ever put 2 and 2 together that it was birthday. But you can literally off of someone's birthday.
How did you know their birthday?
I asked them. It's first thing.
But
they weren't even. They didn't even identify that was the identifying piece of information I used because it's so far out there.
Right.
It's cheat code. So now with a Gemini, I mean, you guys are good communicators, better writers than both of us for the most part.
Oh yeah.
Very articulate, very good at research. Where the Gemini and the Virgo fall in marriage is that we could sit here and have a conversation about stuff like and probably go way off like deep because you know a lot about stuff and you've researched it and I've researched it. What happens is I'll say something like we should build that and you go we should build that. Well, the next day the Virgo gets up and starts building it and we like that's what we get out of the whole thing was building. So that's like the pie for us. Gemini will be like, I'm off on something else. Like, forget about what you were talking about.
That sounds about
to
right.
a practical person, we will like literally lose our shit.
Yeah.
Because we're like, dude, what are you talking? So it's like sand. Gemini to me is like sand falling on my hand that I can't keep. I like.
But we could still be friends.
Oh
right?
yeah. Just don't marry one, and don't get into a major project that requires building. With most air signs is my thing. With a Scorpio, dude, you give a Scorpio a list, like you literally throw them a list. It's like they will chew through a list. Like they're really good at it.
My son now. My son is September 26th.
So he's gonna be a Libra.
Butt heads? Oh
no,
okay.
he's gonna be he'll be airhead. He'll be good. I mean, like air sign, but technically airhead.
Yeah.
But like Libras are good. He'll be good at balancing things out.
Okay.
He'll have an incessant need to balance things out. It's really weird. Once they're out of balance, they get weird or obsessive. A lot of judges and attorneys I see as Libras because they just have an incessant need to balance. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, if you ever want to get into it, you know your cousins, you know your family, you know what they're like. Go learn their birthdays and their zodiacs, and then go to your next party and start to look at who's all mingling together, who was always friends your whole life.
That makes sense.
I'm telling you, my girlfriend only dated and married Virgos her whole entire life, her whole natural born life. She didn't even notice it until I said to her, "Babe, your ex-husband's a Virgo. I'm a Virgo. What about the rest?" And she went back and did all the birthdays. She's like, "Every one of them was in September." I'm like, "It's because you like Virgos. That's the way Tauruses are." Weird.
So are we likely to be friends?
Scorpios and Gemini?
Oh, yeah, big time.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So here's the coolest thing I've ever found out. And I'm at your sister and my brother's wedding. So we were all there.
Yeah, I was there.
We're all there. I'm in the back. And I think it's funny because I have a theory.
Right.
They're talking about the sun. Not the son of God. Fucking son. The real son of God. Just change the O and the U. Okay? And I'm reading the priest's Bible in the back in the tabernacle, and I said, "Hey guys, I got a funny joke. Say it to my family. It's Italian and Catholic." I'm like, "Guys, if you change the O to an N, it's actually what they're talking about." And then you read it, and they're like, "Oh my God!" You start to put two and together. Here's where this is so great. Jesus was born on the 25th.
Mm-hmm. Right? I think of December.
Yep, he died. He died 3 days. He was born again. He's the light of God, Lamb of God, light of the world. Okay. Sounds a lot like the sun, light of the world, Lamb of God. Okay. Now, if you look at what they worship before, whatever we were told to worship, guess what? It died 3 days before the 25th on the 21st, which is the shortest day of the year. The sun goes down for 3 days and hides below the horizon. And on December 25th, it comes back up. So it dies and then is raised again after 3 days. And guess what comes after that? Spring and life and the harvest and all the things that the light of God brings. Okay? Now, you go back, and first we all know about Jesus. He did all these miracles at age 30. Blah, blah, okay. Go back to the previous people to win. Was I think Mithra was with the Persians, born on December 25th, of a virgin. Why are they born a virgin? Because guess where the three wise men that are in Orion's belt point to the North Star on that day in Virgo? The Virgin. So this was written, the story of Jesus was written across 9 or 10 different cultures before us as different names, all on the same story. Born on the 25th, died, risen, performed miracles, Son of God, Lamb of God, yada, 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 yada. So,
that is crazy that you made that. Did you read that somewhere?
Like,
or did
watch,
you made this connection?
No, watch a movie called Zeitgeist. If you watch Zeitgeist, they pull it all together, and it's the most mind-blowing thing you're going to see. Because you're like, that's when you realize every previous culture that won writes history.
Yeah.
And you realize you're living in it. You think you're not. You think you have access to all this information, like we're so smart. Guess what? The Roman Catholics won.
They did.
And guess what we follow?
The Roman Catholics. The church. Cheers.
To
Cheers to the
Zodiac.
church. Or
To
cheers
the
to the
universe,
Zodiac. we
universe.
definitely have some religious people that watch our podcast, and we don't want to like.
Well, I'm not anti. I believe
No.
in all that. Like, I think a lot of the stuff that's said in the Bible and stuff's good, but I'm just saying, like, when you look at history, the people that won typically write it.
Yeah.
My background's psych. So I like to look at everything like, who's fooling me? Like, what mass psychologist is being pulled on me right now?
Well, and I even told that to Kelly. I was like, Russ, like, he is such a smart guy that I'm like, he should have been a psychologist.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or, I mean, no, you're a creator. You're much more creative to be going to get your PhD in psychology.
I'll be bored. I got bored with school. You know what I mean? I got sick of school. But, yeah, I know what you mean. I like... A lot of people ask me if I'm a doctor. Like, they'll say, "Are you a doctor?" And I say no, and they go, "Are you a scientist?"
Well,
or they'll
that's
ask me, "Are
what
you a
it
scientist
sounds
first and
like.
then a doctor?"
The way that you're describing your product, I mean, I know everybody would have to know their product inside and out, but the way that you're talking about the molecules and stuff, it does sound like somebody's a scientist.
Well, we're always... I mean, I'm around them all day long. I mean, like,
Yes.
before I met with you guys today, I was wearing a lab coat all day long, right?
Oh,
and we're talking about... I mean, I'm literally doing chemistry, like, in our facility with scientists all day long.
Yeah. Can you tell me the daily routine of Russ Cersosimo Jr.?
Yeah, so I get up. I keep my phone off at night completely.
Nice.
I sleep on a grounded pillow, by the way. I think everybody should ground.
Explain.
How do you do that?
It's plugged into it. It's covered in silver, coated in silver, and then it's plugged into the third prong outlet so that it's always pulling the positive ions out of my body and into the ground. which is a whole nother podcast someday.
Oh, damn.
It's life-changing. Grounding, look it up. It is life-changing. So I get up, I keep my phone off until I get in the car. So I have my coffee, I make it a French press. It is that time. I typically get my day in order. I do a lot of visualization at that point.
Is that like manifestation?
Yeah, you got to think about what you're doing. If you really think about what your day's gonna be like, Scorpio, get this. I mean, it's like putting a list down and then just knocking it off.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people wake up and they're like, oh, I don't know what I'm gonna do today. Well, yeah, no wonder you don't get anything done. You know? I don't watch TV. I haven't watched TV since 2012.
What?
Yep.
You don't know any shows?
Nothing.
Wow.
And the best thing is I don't get news put in my face.
That's amazing.
Tell me
I
what you
hate the
think.
news. It ruins my day.
That's right.
I know. I mean, I have to say, I do want to be educated by the news to be able to talk about it on the podcast. I think that that's important. But you're right. It does bring us all down.
Just brings you down.
Yeah.
So, like, that's one of my things is make sure, again, because it's psychology background, mass psychology is the most powerful weapon of war, of anything. And to keep them from getting to me means that at least my thoughts are clear and they're what I want.
Mm-hmm.
Then I go to work. Sometimes I'll hike. Like if it's warmer out, like I'll hike
Yeah.
every single morning. But then
You hike
then we
close
go-
by?
Yeah, North Park.
Oh, nice.
And then we go into the lab, and the last 6 months we've been trying to scale up. So I'm actually working in the lab. We're doing, extraction of things. We're doing molecular encapsulation.
Wow.
We're developing products. Like I just developed the world's first liquid gummy. I usually have it, like show it to you, but we have a gummy that looks like that orange color.
Yeah.
And it'll spray out of a nice pump. You can put it here, put it in a drink. So we're working like advanced stuff, but like every day I go in and I'm like either putting something in my body, on my body, or working on getting cannabinoids out of something and into something else.
What's a liquid gummy? Explain that.
Well, the world's all taking gummies, right?
Yeah.
Gummies are sugar based. I mean, it's like kind of ridiculous. You would take your medicine with sugar
Yes.
coated around it.
Right.
That's what the market wants, but they want a more potent one. They want also stuff that goes in drinks. So what we did is we combined it. We now have what tastes and looks like a gummy, but it's in like a cosmetic pump, airtight container. Okay, so now you could spray it on, you just lick it off, but it's not oily and viscous. You could spray it in your drink and do mocktails. And I think that's the most
Yeah.
important thing is now, and it was developed to have a 1 hour onset and quick outset, meaning
Okay.
like alcohol, you have a drink. In an hour, it's going to be in and out of your system, so you can have another one, right? And you're kind of
Right.
in control of where that alcohol is to a certain point.
Yeah.
With marijuana, if you eat it, you're high for 4 hours, and you're stuck, and you're trapped.
Yes.
Well, with what we're doing with the molecular encapsulation, we're keeping the delta 9 THC from
Right.
converting to delta 11 in your system. And what happens is you've seen people get couch lock or they're out, like after they have a brownie, they're dead. That's because
yeah.
that THC is converting to delta 11 hydroxy, and it's a completely different cannabinoid in your system. It's doing different things. Ours doesn't do that. So what happens? The THC goes in, and an hour it's out. So it's more like alcohol, which is what these
Oh.
cannabis
More
liquor.
likely to try that.
Right, and that's what the
Yeah.
cannabis companies wanted when they came to us. Say, look, can you make it replicate alcohol? Because people want to sit and have a drink and then another
Yes.
drink after an hour, not one drink and they're plastered.
Yeah.
So
because
that's-
I do think that was the problem with me. I took something that somebody made for me, and it was like 36 hours of not feeling good.
Yeah, man,
Or
you can't-
paranoid.
Yeah, exactly. So that's it. And then lately I've been getting into AI. So I come home and I got a team from Carnegie Mellon. We meet at nights. We're building all kinds of cool AI stuff, which, I mean, again, we can get into that if you wanted to, but that's so much fun.
Yes.
And I got the band, and then we're starting to kick off podcasts. So I got a lot of stuff going on, but the band takes up my time. We're doing an album right now, all based off psychedelics and what happens when someone takes psychedelics. They go through a certain wave on the trip, and each song is going to have something to do with that particular stage. And so I'm busy, man.
So your band, it's called the Pyramid Incident, correct?
The Pyramid Incident.
And I'm noticing pyramids everywhere.
Everywhere.
Could you tell us about the pyramid thing?
Yeah, so let's talk Zodiac, right? And Scorpio.
Yeah.
So we had the band, and we didn't have a band name. We were just a bunch of guys getting together, and what happened
You're
was
the singer, correct?
I'm the singer, yeah. And the keyboarder was a Scorpio. In fact, a lot of my keyboarders were Scorpios. They have something that they like doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Something about that they like.
Something about that push.
Yeah, it's that stinger. So what happens is the keyboarder, we noticed, couldn't jam. Like, we would like to jam and just have fun and scat around, but he couldn't. He had to read sheet music. So he would just sit out when we would jam. He would just sit back. And it was awkward. So here what happened was we started practice the one day, and everyone was jamming, and he was jamming, dude. It was like, boom, boom. He was like not looking at anything, and it was dead on. And we looked at him, we're like, Dave,
What happened?
what the fuck? Here, I have pyramids everywhere. He had one on his head. it broke his scorpion mannerisms. It completely broke his need to read sheet music and play whack-a-mole with his stinger. Instead, it broke that, and he was just free in an instrument. And no joke, that as soon as he goes, I put the pyramid on, I went, we're called the Pyramid Incident. And the whole band was like, so cool. Yes, all 8 of us.
That is really
we need
cool.
To get pyramid hats.
I know.
Well, I got to tell you guys, and this is going to sound crazy, but I've slept with it on. Okay, I slept with 2 different.
Like on your face, or
so what I do is I put the one on my head. It's like a copper rods.
Yeah.
Put that one on my head, and I've slept with that. It's very calming to sleep in. But then I've also taken. I usually carry one on me, but like precious stone. They're not precious stones,
like
but
a crystal?
Crystals and stuff.
Yeah.
Shaped like a pyramid. If you put it in a sock and wear it around your head, so the pyramids point out like a unicorn, your dreams are through the roof. And I was actually thinking about going to market with a dream producer product because it's that profound.
I would try that.
Yeah, so get a pyramid, put it on your head, and like people are gonna say you're crazy, but guess what? I don't care.
Hey, that's something about you. You definitely do not have the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania mindset. Like, you definitely are giving me California vibes, and you lived out west,
I lived there, yeah.
right?
Yeah, I married one.
Yeah. How long ago was that?
That was in 2009. We started the tech company out there in a house with 4, tech guys that all lived there. I mean, it was just like that TV show they all talk about called Silicon Valley. I mean, I literally woke up every day, cooked breakfast for them, and we started a tech company out. But yeah, I mean, that's where you pick up a lot of that stuff that I do, and that was it. I mean, you learn about health there. You learn about like what they're doing to us here, and
right.
You get healthy and you want to tell the world. But yeah, I'm very Cali.
And then you came back. After how many years? You moved from
I was in
Cali
Arizona for about 6 years. Yep.
6 years.
And then I was in Florida for a year. Then Miami and Fort Lauderdale, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So I picked up, I lived in all the kind of cool places for a little bit. And you pick that up and bring it back to Pittsburgh and teach people.
Exactly. And you moved back to Pittsburgh because of the business, and you also, you're a family guy.
Yeah, my family. Yeah, I love my family.
Let's be honest here. I think we
what brought
all.
us back too.
Yeah. Because we've both been away for 10 years.
Where were you at, Kelly?
All over the place. My husband was in the military, so.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Florida, Pensacola, Florida, San Diego, Beaufort, South Carolina, Meridian, Mississippi.
Your husband's a cool dude too, man.
Thank you.
He's a dude who went on your side.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's a cool dude. What's his birthday?
March 2nd.
So he's a Pisces.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
so
right.
he's more emotional than you'd think, probably. For a tough guy. Yeah.
But yeah.
He's like acting all tough, military, Marine Corps.
Yeah, he'll still cry.
Uh-huh.
See, what's interesting is Vinny my brother Vinny, the toughest one of us, is a Cancer.
Oh God,
and he will cry. Like, and I'm not saying now, but when we were kids, all I had to do was say, "Vinny, cry. You're gonna cry. I know you're gonna cry. Look at you, you're already crying." And he would stop it, and he would cry.
Oh damn.
And it's funny because Casey White, my best friend, was also Cancer, born 2 days from him, and a couple other Cancers I know, like including my Uncle Frank, who you'd never think they're the kind of people that'll punch you in the face in public if you wrong them. All of them out of nowhere, and it's almost like that Cancer crab claw.
Yes.
Will come out as just a way to solve a problem for them that I would never think of.
Oh no.
Yeah. So
I was just in a relationship for 4.5 years with a cancer.
They're moody, man.
Oh,
crabby.
Yeah, crabby for sure. But you're right. Like, they have that emotion.
Yep. It's sitting in there lingering. It's dark sometimes too.
Uh-huh. We went there.
But they're solid people.
They are. Like, biggest hearts.
Yep.
They will do whatever. They're very loyal.
Yep. It's interesting how
once they have
what they say once they have you in their claw, like they're not letting you go.
Yeah.
My redheaded cousin Joey Bagnetta would not leave me alone growing up.
I know Joey.
Joey would, once he had me,
Uh-huh.
He was like, he was 4 feet behind me, like, Joey, get away from him. For
Right.
30 years, that's what he was like.
Clingy.
Until he lost his license and he couldn't drive. It's true story.
Was that a mocktail or messy incident?
Oh yeah. He had 4 DUIs. He's not allowed to have his license again until like 2030.
I met so many people in LA that had like 2 DUIs, and it's like, it's crazy to think about like how expensive and like it really changes your life.
Big time. I had to.
Yeah.
I got out of them.
So you were able to somehow.
I got out of the first one. I did ARD, which the state lets you do.
What's ARD?
ARD is like alcohol rehabilitation something where you're allowed to just go and you take classes and then they wipe it off your thing.
You go to AA.
Yeah, and then the next time I got one, I wasn't even driving the car, but it was my car, so it was this huge ordeal, and I had to go through.
Oh God.
I mean, I went through court for years over it, and they ended up throwing it out.
Wow.
But
so you were fortunate.
I was fortunate, but then they refiled it again because they're like, man, we want to refile it again. And I had to fight it again. So I fought 3 DUIs. My attorney said that Jesus Christ himself could knock it out of 1, let alone 2.
Damn.
So I was proud of myself. Not
Now,
proud of myself.
Do you think is it because you had the right lawyers on your side?
Honestly, he literally looked at me in court right there. The judge said something. He looks at me and goes, get out of here. I'm like, what are you telling me? He's like, go, before they change their mind. I'm like, what? And we walked out. And he's like, no. Jesus Christ himself would not have been able to get out of it. It's a long story, but
yeah,
but you learn a lesson, dude. It's really expensive.
Do you think it's the politics behind it?
Maybe.
Bureaucrat.
It's the power of the pyramid.
I'll just say maybe there was better things for me. Maybe there was bigger things for me out there. I don't know. It was before the pyramid. Yeah. So, but yeah, I don't know, man. But you realize they're like drinking's bad. You know, like that's not a reason. Like, this stuff, you're not going to get in trouble. You know, meanwhile, I was just what I was doing was karaoke, and they didn't have bar food, and they said, "Oh, go over to Sheets." That's what the bartender told me.
Oh yeah.
I drove across the street to Sheets
in Wexford,
and they had cops waiting there.
The Wild Wex.
It was in Cranberry, but it was like they had a thing. You know, it's kind of like, come on, guys, what are you doing? This is
That's
a revenue
so
generator?
annoying.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say, like, that is a big one. Like, living in New York, I was there for 5 years. I loved getting messy and not having to drive.
Yeah.
You know, I was like that kind of like weekend warrior that was like, I don't have to drive. I mean, we can get ham, you know? Just get in your Uber, get in your cab, get on the subway. But that has the Peter Pan effect where you don't ever grow up.
It's true.
You're like in this city, it's super expensive, like everything is at your fingertips, you know, you don't have to like be an adult almost unless you know.
That's well said, the Peter Pan effect.
Yeah.
That is very true. You get stuck. I know a lot of people that are still stuck there.
Oh yeah, even La La Land.
Yeah, La La Land.
I felt like I was in this little cocoon in Beverly Hills for the last 5 years because I'm like, hey, I get up, I go to work, you know, maybe just like live in this like vacation land, but then it wasn't as motivating as I thought it was going to be. You know, you go there for like the acting, for the commercial production, whatever it may be in entertainment, but you really have to be focused.
Well, dude, it's the carrot.
Yeah.
See, people don't understand. Like, it's not the destination, it's the journey. And that, like,
right.
It's
such a simple
it's
concept.
Such a simple thing. And I know now, I'm like 45 years old.
Damn.
I've had enough of those where you've seen both
you
sides. You
look a lot younger than 45.
Thanks, man. That's all that kombucha I drink.
Is the kombucha.
Being vegan.
Gotta get
veganism, that's it.
That's it. I mean,
that's
you
what
go
it
vegan
is.
like you're all
When
of a
did you
sudden.
go vegan?
I went vegan in 2014.
Oh, you're a trendsetter.
Oh, I was
You
early.
did this before.
So
everybody
you
did
haven't
started.
dabbled in like
I haven't
wow,
eaten
I'm
meat for over a
impressed.
decade, dude. Yeah,
That's
I haven't
impressive.
eaten meat for over a decade.
And
Because
I
what
think
happened was
that's
I went in the doctor for concussion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, went in for a concussion.
Was that a bar fight?
It was in Tortola the next year. My family I got knocked out bad.
So that was what year?
2012, I think. Something like that. When did we go to Tortola?
We did go 2012.
Maybe it was 2013.
Okay.
I didn't get hit in the head that time, right?
You know what? I don't think
no, because
so.
my girlfriend from California wasn't there that time, right?
No,
Okay.
I remember there was an ambient incident, but
yeah. So what happened?
Do you want to dabble on that one?
Yeah, tell me.
Okay, well, I'm like, you know,
this is like what? This is literally 12 years ago, right?
This is like 12 years ago. Like
my dad was big on
Ambien.
Ambien. Right? My dad used to be like the Indian candy man because he was a big proponent of it. Like, hey, take your Ambien, go to sleep. You should try Ambien. It works.
Right. Well, he's such a successful guy, and I just thought, like, wow, okay, you knock yourself to sleep, and you get up at 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah, and you go to work.
Yeah.
Let's try it. Maybe I'll be like that.
And so then I think somebody's idea thought it was a good one was to drink and have some Ambien.
Well, no, and the thing was we were like a mile above the seashore, right? And the goal was
Yes.
we were trying to make it down this rickety
Staircase
to
yeah.
the thing
So
on
that
Ambien
sounds
and back, but it was a good half an hour round trip.
Oh, yeah,
and
to get
Ambien
down.
kicks in about 20 minutes, so we knew that you might not make it back.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So what happened? I can't remember what happened to us. We made it back.
I think we did, but everybody started to get really sleepy, and we were just like, are we going to have to lay down, or do you guys, like, I don't think it's safe to walk up this mountain of, like, this staircase mountain back to the house. Such a bad idea. Those were the messy moments that we learned from now. Thank God
those are
nobody
those
killed.
Peter Pan days that you
Yes.
just get stuck in, and
Yes.
we had some good times, man. That was,
We did.
Yeah.
We did. I mean, thank God we could live to tell about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's God truth. Yeah.
Yeah, we had some messy times.
We did.
We don't want to discuss everything. But I'm sorry, I cut you off, Russ. You
What
were
we talking
talking about your buddy. You got into veganism and
No, the reason I went vegan is because I went to the doctor for a concussion.
concussion.
And no joke, I said, hey, I'm real lethargic. I don't know what's going on. She goes, well, your mother has hypothyroid, and that could cause lethargy. So I'm going to do a blood test, and if you have low T1 and T2, I'm going to put you on Armour Synthroid, and then I'm listening to $50,000 worth of bills she's telling me on some inkling she has. So they could do all the biopsies, and they decide that my thyroid's calcified. She said, we got to remove it. We got to do this thing. And I looked at her and I said, what? Time out. Time out. First and foremost, I walked in here and I give you 2 pieces of data. I'm tired, and you know my family, basically, because my family doctor. And she said, with that 2 bits of information, you looked at me and told me you're going to prescribe me something for my thyroid. She said, well, it's genetic. I said, me and my mother live both in the thyroid belt. Because Virgos are data people. Remember, I started this whole conversation with, like, I look for patterns. So I know, like, she's messing with me at this point. I said, if we both live in the thyroid belt, we both have a depletion of iodine in the soil and all that. Wouldn't it both make sense that we both had this problem with low? And she looked at me like I was an idiot. And then that's when I realized you're reading the Merck manual that was you were trained by pharma to take
Merck,
A and B.
Like the pharmaceutical
It's called Merck
company.
manual. Like Merck, the who makes all the pharmaceuticals.
My mom writes for Merck.
Okay, so you know. They're the devil. Okay, they're the devil.
Oh, yeah.
So they write me, hey, doctor, you are the white coat that's now going to deceive everyone else for us as our salespeople.
Right.
If this, then this, and then they're going to buy into you because you have a white coat. Remember, I told you most people look at me and say, are you a doctor or a scientist? Because I question them, right? And I looked and I said that, and she said, and I said, you know what? I heard an apple a day will keep you away. And I'll try that. And I went vegan.
Wow.
And that
That's
was
a
it.
great story.
And I've never been here.
Now, I have a question now, because you know a lot about this stuff. What can you do for ADHD that wouldn't be like Adderall?
Yeah, so I can tell you exactly what
Because
to do.
I think all 3 of us have it.
Yeah, first
we've
thing.
been struggling.
Or do you think everybody does in this new generation?
No, I think it's for sure things that are in your environment that are affecting your nervous system.
Right.
So, number one, we already have so much on our system that it's fucking everybody up. So what you need to do is detox. So like a good thing to do is a gallbladder cleanse, do a liver cleanse, drink as much water as possible. You know, just anything that can pull heavy metals from your body. Like, we're getting inundated every minute with this stuff. So really, like, we're dying of cancer because your body can't heal itself when it's fighting the real-time stuff that's coming on. So if you can find a way to get the real-time problems mitigated, right, like by taking antioxidants and all those things, heavy metals, you're removing the heavy metals. Once your body can switch to heal mode, I mean, that's all it's meant to do. But when it's inundated with stuff that it could never get to, like, here, juggle all this stuff and make me an espresso. Like, good luck. You're never going to get the espresso, right? Put all this stuff down, focus on the espresso, and that's kind of what you need to do with your body is detox. So don't be totally afraid because it's coming from everywhere. But if you can be like constantly keeping it out as best possible, then, you stay ahead of it.
So you don't drink tap water?
Fuck no. Fuck no. In fact, I barely shower in it. I haven't washed my hair in 5 years.
Because you don't
You
really
haven't
need...
washed your hair?
I've not washed my hair
How
in 5
is it
years.
not dirty looking?
It's clean. It smells
Dry
good.
shampoo.
This is natural. It's my natural oil.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty
Did
neat.
you go-
Yes, ma'am.
It doesn't smell.
Yeah. Right? I mean, would you say it doesn't smell?
No, I mean, listen, it doesn't smell like shampoo.
No, it's not going to smell like shampoo.
It doesn't smell like fresh, but it doesn't smell.
Good.
It smells good, thank you.
I thought it smelled good.
Thank
Maybe it's
you.
like the pheromone.
I think
it could be,
I think
yeah.
it's just smelled like kind of sweat.
A little bit of just
Yeah,
it's a nice male sweat.
Right,
Good
yeah,
male
not
sweat.
like a BO sweat,
No.
just like you might have worked out.
Yeah. Just like a little, like a light glistening.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm telling you, that's the thing. Is like I like get rid of tap water. Don't drink it. Don't drink any purified water. That's all bullshit too.
So what do you drink when it comes to water? Spring.
We'll go to the cabin and literally get it out of the ground.
Yeah.
Put it in a jug, and the jug sits.
And you have that in your fridge.
It's upstairs in my kitchen.
Check it out.
Freshly squeezed out of the earth. That's
Oh wow.
But you got to watch everything, and that's my tip to people is like, listen, if you want to start getting healthier and look at like just look at stuff that's going to be positive on the points as opposed to negative, right? And then replace something that's negative with something positive. Like for instance, if I make eye contact with my apple cider vinegar or goji berries, I have to eat them. Like if I make eye contact, it's like, oh damn it, I looked at you. All right, give me a swig of that.
That's pretty simple.
Right. If you like potato chips, go out and get something that isn't potato chips that's good for you and put it right where the potato chips were. And then if you do that like with 10 things in your life, a year from the day you started, you're so much more healthier with the stuff you're putting in.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, yeah, just little bits here and there.
Yeah.
Well, the last thing that I wanted to ask about is your book. So you have a book, it's called Molecular Influence, Successfully Hack the Minds of Potential Investors, Customers, Partners, and More. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. So, I'll take it back a little bit. So when I was 5 years old, my dad, who started Guardian Protection Services, which is the alarm company that was at one point the largest privately held home security company in the nation, I saw him do that from the garage of my grandparents' house, right?
Wow.
He used to bring me to the home show every year, which is the big thing in Pittsburgh.
I remember you telling.
So he would have a booth, and then across from him was another guy that had a booth, and I would sit there all day, and I'd watch this guy sell stuff, and I'd watch my dad do stuff, and long story short, it would take my dad forever to sell something because it was alarms and it was tough. We had our little magic trick. My dad's dad was a magician. I was the oldest grandchild, so I was always in the magic trick. So like, I knew my grandpa's magic tricks. Like I wasn't getting cut in half, but the crowd saw me getting cut in half. So I started to learn early perception's reality, right? Like I'm part of this trick that they think is real, but I'm only 6, or 5. Like there's something to it. So you learn magic, you learn systematic approaches to things. What happened was I saw this guy across the way from me selling 2 mops, 2 whatever he was selling every year to any person that walked by him. He would catch their attention. They would buy 2 mops from him, or Vegematic, Salsamatic, whatever year it was. He had something different. And the moment that changed my life happened, where a wife and a husband walked past each other. They walked past me. The wife had 2 mops. The husband had 2 mops, and she looked at him and said, "It really sucks that you can only buy 2 of these." And I went, "Oh, he's got a magic trick." And I put 2 and 2 together because I knew enough about magic that he was telling them what card to pick. And here I walked up to him and I said, "I'd love to know how you do this, Mr. Mays, but better." And he said, "All right, kid, I want you to stand next to me. You're going to see me pick off the wives and the husbands and the kids. I'm going to hit one offer they can't refuse, and everyone's going to buy 2. And I'm like, it was like way over my head, right? So here he starts calling people up. He says, "Rusty, get up here." He sits me next to him and he says, "Hey, you women, have you ever spilled marinara sauce in your precious tile grout?" And like the women are like, "Yeah." And half the dudes are like rolling their eyes like, "I know where he's going to go with this." And she thinks she's going to buy a mop, right? He throws down marinara, he picks it up, and the guy's like, "No big deal." He's like, yeah, guys, I see you doing it. How about this? You all got motor oil that you spilled in your garage, right? That you can't get up. And you see like half the guys like, "Yeah." He's like, "If you buy this for your wife today, I'm going to throw in this special thing." He throws this sand down. The sand picks up the oil. Then he's sweeping up things. With kids are like, "I want to try it." He basically says, "Look, you guys all buy today. It's summertime. If you buy today, I'll give you another one free. That means you wiped out your Christmas gift. You have people that have back problems that you know that doesn't work for, blah, 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 blah." Boom. All of a sudden, everyone's buying 2 of them. That resonated with me. That dude was Billy Mays.
Yes, that's right. We were talking about that. Dude was
because I'm watching, 15 years later, I'm watching TV and I see the OxyClean commercial come on. "Hey, I'm Billy Mays with OxyClean," and blah, blah. And I called my mom. I'm like, "Mom, is that the guy from McKees Rock?" She's like, "That's the dude that you asked to train you that." I'm like, oh my God. So the world's greatest salesman literally trained me at 7 years old. And then I went into psych school. So what happened was I have an event because I'm the first college professor in cannabis, and I have all these cannabis professionals coming to Harrisburg to do this event. The night before the event, one of the doctors calls me and says, "I can't make it. You need someone to fill in my spot." And I'm like, I'm the only person. Like, there's no one else going to drive to Harrisburg tomorrow with something prepared. Right. So then I was forced to think, like, what could you sit in a room with 300 people? What would you be the best at? Because otherwise, who wants to listen to you? Yeah. And I thought, well, I don't think anyone in that room is as good as a pitch man as me. I don't think, right? Like if I just pick one thing, So I got up and I explained my backstory and I explained how to pitch and I talked about all this psychology that was really cool because like in 20 years of psych, like I know some really neat little tricks that I would say to people. So here I do this whole speech and I'm done with it and I said, any questions? And dude, when you speak out loud, if no one has any questions, it's the worst. So like it's crickets and I'm like, really? All you could go raise millions of dollars right now, like if you needed a pitch? And again, crickets. And the one dude raised his hand, sharpest dude with the tie, pocket thing going on, like just gold. He said, Russ, I have a question. I said, John Dawn from Shimatsu. He said, did you ever write a book? And I'm like, no. Like, that's the question I got. I said, no. He goes, you need to write a book. And like, I just paused because this hit me so off, so out of nowhere. And he goes, Russ, Shimatsu is a $4.3 billion company. I have been managing the United States region for 20 years. My job has been to bring the best sales training companies in to Shimatsu to train our salespeople. I have never in my life seen something so succinctly and perfectly put together in such a tight and well laid out framework. You need to write a book. And no joke, I went and wrote a book right after that. And
wow.
And it was funny because I actually wrote in that, the first page, thanks John Dewan for even giving me the idea. But when you think about it, because I was raised by a magician, and my dad was a white-collar magician, then I went to psych school and learned how to train rats in a Skinner box, and actual why that magic works psychologically on you, the research that ties back to why it works. So now when I see Billy Mays do something, I know exactly what they did in a lab or what they did in research, that he can count on that working. For instance, they did this really neat research where they took a sales team that closed, let's say it was window sales, at an average of 18%. So for every house they went in, 18% of the time they walked out with a deal.
Yeah.
The researcher said, I just want you to incite a yes 3 times where you typically wouldn't. And I don't care if it's, do you like pizza? And they say yes. Would you like to go eat later? And they say yes. Just get 3 more yeses. Their odds of closing went up 14% by just getting 3 yeses. So they went from 18% to 32%. I know that for a fact. So I will always get people to say yes. Just
yeah.
Another good example. They did research in a printer in New York on a busy day in the middle of the day. Okay, and they want to see if they can get people to let them cut. So if I walk up to you and say, hey, I want to cut to get in line, let me cut. The odds that it's a New Yorker on a daily is going to tell you go fuck off. Okay?
Exactly.
100%. Yeah. But they found out if you go in and say, hey, my baby's in the car and the windows aren't down and I need to hurry make this copy, like 100% of people let you go. So then they started like, well, how much of excuse do you really have to give? They found out if you just walked up and said, oh my God, the sky's blue and I need to cut because there's not much time left, the odds were the same as if you had a kid locked in the car. You just have to have some reason that you say it. So whereas my girlfriend will fight me all the time and say, why do you say that? Why'd you say that to that guy working the register? Well, you didn't even have to say that. I'm like, because I want him to comply. I want him to say yes. And I know for a fact if I give him that excuse, he's going to say yes because I know the research. So I don't need to question it. And so it's neat to know that stuff. And that's what's cool about kind of what got me to that book is I know all those invisible leverage points.
Yeah.
Kind of like when you're seeing people do brain surgery, they can push on someone's brain and they're like speaking backwards. That's what psychology is like. I can see it coming across, and you throw Zodiac into it now, it's kind of like,
yeah. Now,
it's unfair.
Do you feel like whenever you are trying to push people to say yes, do you find like somebody will be like so resistant because they are just so against like giving in?
So that's where,
because they're all that type.
I hear you. That's where your prep time. So I'll give you an example. We came out with our liquid gummy Friday.
Yeah.
On Monday, okay, and this is the liquid gummy. Okay, imagine it's like a little pump spray. I'm just using an example. I'm sitting outside of...
and you just say gummy because it's basically the same effects.
People want gummies. They want that taste. They want shit.
It's
we'll call it liquid gummy because it looks like it tastes like it, except you could put it... It's
in
just
a
easier.
Water.
And you can put it in your pocket and go to a concert. Like, they're not going to say, what is that? But the fact is to your point, my framework and what I learned from Billy is, they're never going to have a chance to say no. Okay, if I have a chance to think first. So I'm sitting outside on Monday. I got this new product that the world's never seen, and I'm sitting in my car outside of a place. I'm about to go walking and find out what the market thinks of it. But I don't want them to tell me like no right off the bat. Like that would ruin the game for me.
Right.
I want to spend an hour with them, and I want to find out what they like and if they taste it and this, and I want to talk to their customers when they come in.
Understand.
So I'm sitting in the car thinking, how do I make sure that happens? And the deal is in my book, one of the things that you can do is cause curiosity. If you can cause curiosity in someone, you're good. Like that's a hook.
Yeah.
If they need you, if there's a common enemy, if there's a common goal. Like there's these 6 things that if you just know you can find one of them. Like if I know that if an alien had a gun pointed at us, like me and you are best friends right now. Like it's me versus them. It's like no matter what. Like even Muslims and like Catholics that hate each other their whole life. If aliens had guns at us, like forget who's what. Like let's get guns together and go after them. Like we're a team. Point is you can use these tricks. So I thought, what would I say to that guy? So I literally, no joke, here's the framework. I walk in, and I did this to 6 shops in a row, and I got the same exact response at every one of them. I walk in, and I wouldn't make eye contact like I was going in like with this. I said, have you seen anything like this? Do you guys carry anything like this? And all attention is on this thing. And we're all staring at it, and they're going, I've never seen anything like that. And I thought, no, I got you. Because guess what? I'm curious. And that was it. So I just had to get to that point with them.
Yeah.
But I had to look at every way I did everything, how my eyes were. Did you ever see anything like this? You know, like a salesperson might walk in and like make eye contact, want to shake hands and do all that sales bullshit. Nah, fuck that.
No.
Hey man, you ever seen anything like this? He doesn't know if I'm a customer. He doesn't know if I'm looking for that. He doesn't know if it's the next best thing. Then I turn around and I say to him, dude, you know why you didn't see it? Because I just invented it in a lab on Friday. It's the world's first liquid gummy. Like, check this shit out. Boom, 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 boom. And they're like, what? Like, what? But if I would have walked in and said, dude, I want to sell you something, the guy would have been like, yeah, I don't think so. But that was gone. And there's a reason. There's 2 things. There's the thing you're going to know. You have a social norm and you have a market norm. Have you ever lent a friend money and shit changes between you?
Oh, yeah.
It's because you switch from a social norm into a market norm. The second money's transferred, you turn into a business and things change immediately, no matter how good a friend you are. And if you can keep them out of that transition to a market mode and stay in social mode, you can run the world. A lot of people can't do that because it's very uncomfortable. You have to find a way around it. You need to get a defense mechanism down. If he knew if I was pushing something on him, he would have had the defense mechanism on. And where you know it works is when an Indian kratom shop owner literally is built to say no to salespeople and turn around.
Right.
When he does this and he goes, wait a second, what did you say? And he spends 45 minutes with me. As customers are coming in and he's just letting them do their thing. That's a big tell sign because usually they're trained to just see you later and go back to the back of the store if you have to buy something. So, yeah, man, it's all about a systematic approach. Life is a system. If you just learn how to put the right things in order.
Do you owe that to your success today?
I owe it to my, well, what, the systematic approach to thing?
Just kind of your understanding, like you're talking a lot about like being able to pick up stuff from your grandfather, Billy Mays, like, and now you're sounding like a professor right now.
Yeah. I mean, I think the thing is this. When you see something work in real time, anecdotally, and then you can tie back a research to it and have a finite that's working. Like a lot of stuff's invisible to people, but you can count on it. Yeah, you start to use it, you leverage it, and yeah. But you pick up stuff from everybody. I mean, a little bit of Pap, a little bit of Dad, a little bit of Billy Mays.
Yeah.
You know?
Your brother just texted me.
Really?
Yeah.
What's he want?
He's sending me stuff about like extra work.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Not to change the subject. I just thought it was
I got
so
work
funny.
for you too. If you're looking for work down the lab, we're looking for people.
Oh, I would love to talk about some opportunities. I mean, you know, I studied industrial manufacturing engineering.
Well, then, son of a bitch, this is perfect.
I mean, it's not like bio, but it's definitely understanding about the manufacturing process. And, you know, even us with like, you know, our business, like we want to get into like creating a product for, you know, the understanding behind the mission. It's like mocktails that really create that placebo effect tipsy, kind of like what we're dealing with right now. You gave me this, what is it? Feel free?
Feel free.
I do feel a little free right now.
Feel good, dude. Huh?
Yeah.
Like you'll feel good. It's like the best. It's truly the best. Like you'll. How much did you drink? About half of that?
I mean, I definitely took more than you. I think
you did?
I definitely have like 3/4.
Oh, then you're gonna feel.
Yeah, you're gonna feel really
No, I mean it's all planned.
You're gonna feel good. You're
gonna
feel real relaxed.
Yeah.
Calm.
Definitely. I can see, like,
oh yeah, well, and I also think,
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you might be right, and I also think it has something to do with this guy. I mean, his energy is through the roof. Yeah. You are such an optimist. I mean, I think that everybody needs to take a dose of Russ Jr.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah, don't you agree?
Yeah.
Like we were getting a little sleepy with one of our guests. They that was like a first couple episodes, like. And we didn't even actually end up posting it because you really do have to bring not just only your background in like so many different businesses, but your energy. Yeah.
People want to watch energy, man. That's it.
Yes.
Like I learned, and I write about this in the book. Like my sister asked me, she's like, "What should I do next time?" Because like she gets on the podcast, and I'm like, "No, failed." I asked her about her business. She's like, "Oh, reading off a piece of paper." I said, "Fail."
This is Serena?
Serena.
Yeah.
She's coming out with some new jumper that keeps the kids from scratching because
Oh,
kids got allergies real
nice.
bad. Yeah. But I said to her, I said, go jump on a trampoline for a few minutes before you get on the camera. Like, because that's what people want. Like, they want, like, I know, like, my dad's like, you use your hands too much. I'm like, well, I've also done the research. Okay,
Right,
people that use their
right.
hands, they think more intelligent. Like, that's the way
Yes.
it goes.
Well, and you're Italian.
Yeah, I'm Italian.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But
What's your
Yeah.
most embarrassing memory?
my most
Today.
embarrassing memory, because I'm known as the shock value guy.
Yeah.
Like, people are like, well, but that's Russ that took his pants off and, like, covered it with a deer, skin and ran around outside or whatever.
Your brother always said he wants shock value.
I
He
mean-
wants the shock value.
Like, and I've done.
Shock value.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she does too. She don't let her fool you.
What would you do in New Orleans if you wanted to be the one that everyone thought was crazy?
I'm gonna ask this one.
What would you do if you were in New Orleans and you had one night, just like I said with this, and you need to make sure everyone on NOLA, what is it,
Bourbon Street.
Bourbon Street, remembered who you were.
I don't know. Last time I went, we hit up all the strip clubs.
Okay. Okay.
I didn't get on stage, but maybe I should have.
That's
Yeah.
okay. That'll do it, right? So what would you
Yeah.
do if you were in Bourbon Street? You had one shot, one night.
Oh, I know exactly what I'd do.
What would you do?
I would wear. I mean, this might not be conventional, but maybe a G-string thong.
That's good, and you are right up the right alley. Although that's a little too normal, mainstream.
Yeah, that's
Wear
true.
Full blown gimp suit.
Oh wait, something real covered.
I wore a full blown gimp suit down Bourbon Street.
Wait, I'm sorry. Gimp suit is.
Yeah, like, what is that?
Full blown leather gimp suit with the face covered
Oh my God.
and a chain around my neck and a leash at a bachelor party, and I didn't say a word for 6 hours straight.
That's hard for
Did
you.
you have a gag in your mouth?
I had a ball gag and everything. I walk in the casino, the security's laughing with me. They grab my leash. New Orleans is a crazy place in a gimp suit.
Yeah.
Best part about it is I wake up the next day, okay? We're all hungover. One guy's real rich. He's got a private plane. He says, dude, you want to ride home to Pittsburgh on the private plane? I looked at him and I said, can I wear my gimp suit? He's like, hell yeah. So I got to wear it then home.
Oh my God.
It was
Is this
one
one
of
of
the
your
funniest.
neighbors growing up?
What?
Is this one of your neighbors growing up?
No, it was a buddy
okay.
of my dad's. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, dude, but gimp suit. And I just did it in Nashville. I wanted to be the guy.
Oh my
And I
God.
brought. Did you ever see this new Insta360 camera that you can hold out and it looks
Yes.
like a drone's following you? I said, watch this. I'm going to bring this thing out. With my dance moves, people are going to wonder. And sure enough, we got in Nashville, the world's most entertaining place. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Next day is New Year's Eve. We go to the world's biggest New Year's Eve party because this is the new New York is Nashville.
Oh,
now,
for
with
sure.
the note drop. And I didn't even know that was going on. We just were there because we were like, we thought it would be cool to be there for.
Yeah.
So here I walk all the way to the beginning, 8 hours before the show to get in line, or at least talk to people in line. And the first guy in line goes, "Hey, dude, you're the guy that was dancing last night on with the camera." Yeah, it's me. So I got a thing for going to cities and just
Yeah.
finding a way to become the center of attention. But yeah, gimp suit will do it. A G-string would also do it.
Oh yeah. Well, I think the
If you had your
gimp
old
suit-
hair too, your old hair with a G-string.
The Tarzan, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the gimp suit might be a next thing.
Yeah, you have
might
to.
have
I mean,
to
just
do
have
that.
it. Just have it ready.
Yeah.
You know. Okay, it's my brother-in-law's bachelor party. It's what we're all done. It's
Yeah.
25. My brother Vinny, who grew up in the 90s with me, where we had rocker ragers, like rock stars, we would ruin hotel rooms, right? It's just a thing. Like when the movie Hangover came in, Vinny's like, "Do you see it?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's one of our weekends." He's like, "Yeah." I know." Vinny looks at me and he goes, "Dude, we have no good stories to bring home from the bachelor party."
Oh God.
He goes, "You know what? Somebody should wear a gimp suit." And I said, "I know where the hustler store is." We're like, "Rocky, you're wearing it." He's like, "No, I'm not wearing it."
Oh, Rocky.
I was like, "I'll wear it." So we did. We went into Hustler. I got a picture of me in a gimp suit like this. And then,
Oh my
yeah,
God.
it was a good. That's a
How
good
much
jet. Now
is-
we had stories in.
How much does a gimp suit go for? Do you
If
remember?
you get the cheap fake latex, it was like $60.
Okay.
Now you go the real, genuine leather,
Yeah.
and you're getting up there.
You might get
It's an
a
investment.
premium.
It's a long-term investment.
I think I'd get too hot.
I know.
Yeah.
A little sweaty.
Yeah, it's definitely
Yeah.
They need to make
her
Gore-Tex.
husband would like that.
Gore-Tex.
Gore-Tex.
You gotta get a Gore-Tex gimp suit.
Yeah, ex-
Whisk off that.
Exactly.
Sweat,
Exactly. Now, before I, wrap things up, I want to know: is there any questions you'd wish to ask us?
What's your favorite band of all time?
Oh,
Yeah.
I gotta say, I really gravitated towards 50.
Really?
50 Cent.
50 Cent.
But I don't know. I mean, I guess bands were not. I
Yeah,
mean,
you're right. You grew up in an age where there was a lot of artists. As
yeah,
opposed to
just
bands.
like single artists. I mean, I'll be on, and like maybe even like Christina, because we
Really?
got that Christina Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
You know, her mom lives in your old
My
neighborhood.
brother made out with her.
Oh, what?
Oh yeah, my brother made
Christina
out with her.
and
Yeah,
your
he did.
bro,
In the pool.
Vinny?
In the pool. I think in my parents' pool actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was a big day when we found out he made out with Aguilera. Like what? It's
That
pretty
is
cool.
pretty cool.
All right, so how about you? Favorite band or artist?
Avenged Sevenfold. But I mean, I love Britney Spears. I loved NSYNC and the Backstreet
Yeah.
Boys.
If there was only one dude left on the world, on the
Yeah.
planet, I had to pick a guy, it would be Timberlake.
Oh, yeah, he's a
Do you like
good-looking
his new song that
dude.
just came out?
I didn't even hear it because I don't listen to radio or
what's it called?
TV.
It's called Jealous, I think.
I don't listen. Oh, yeah, it is good.
Listen, him and Bruno, I love Bruno, but I wouldn't marry Bruno if he was the only guy left. 'Cause I just feel like he's trouble.
Oh, yeah, he's trouble for
Yeah.
sure. You definitely are an inspiration. Thank you so much for sharing your story and being an open book. I think Kelly and I can definitely learn a lot from you in the future. And, you know, maybe even later tonight.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me.
appreciate it.